Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here's the Prince of Wands. This is very dedicated, very committed creative energy. Okay, this is kind of like you've been lit up by something and you're not stopping. So I feel like you're right in the middle of a creative project right now, something that is really has really captured you. Yeah, something that you really I think enjoy doing. It is challenging, but there's a lot of creative fire there. Right? And it's sustained, it's fixed fire. Okay, so we need some more cards to see what's going on here and see where that energy is really manifesting. You'll have to excuse my voice today. I do have laryngitis. So we've got a Three of Pentacles next. There's your power card. There it is. Got to ring the bell for the Chariot card. That is the card that rules the sign of Cancer. We've got a Queen of Pentacles. We've got the Magician, very nice. And we've got a Nine of Swords. Interesting to have the Nine of Swords in this kind of position. This is kind of like what we're looking towards, kind of what we're faced with, right? And I think we're faced with a lot of opposition, but there's something here that you are sticking with, right? And especially with the Three of Pentacles, it's something that's already in motion. It's something that's already, you're in the middle of it already. And you're not giving up, no matter what it is, because one, the Chariot card underneath here, this is your spirit. This is something that has captured you, right? And with Magician up here, you have the skill and the talent to succeed at this, whatever this is, despite the opposition that you're facing, okay? And we'll talk about some of that opposition and what it could be, but here's the Princess of Wands. There's the Devil energy, more major arcana. We're trying to avoid the Eight of Cups. That might be one of our challenges, right? And then we've got the Sun. We've got success. We've got that radiant glow. Really couldn't ask for a better ending to this than the Sun card, right? Because this is you now having fully risen, and you're in this successful state, and it's kind of like this feeling of glory, really. Feeling that you made it, that you did it, right? That you... kind of like that you were right, that you pushed through whatever this Nine of Swords and the Eight of Cups, whatever that opposition is, you push through it and you succeed. And you get to bask in that glory, right? Now, this could be a creative project. It could be something at work. It could be something at school, at home. It could be internal. It could be a spiritual endeavor, a spiritual journey that you're on. I think it's all of these things, really. But I think it's kind of you... pushing through the opposite, pushing against all those forces that have ever told you that you couldn't do something, right? And especially I say that because of the Queen of Pentacles looking at the past. And so I think the past is very much present with you, yeah. But let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here. We'll put Tiny Bob Ross right on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us our confirmation. If at any point during the program you feel like you know what that card is, put your answer, your prediction, down in the comments below, and we'll get started here. Okay, we've got obviously major, 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 major. It is kind of something here where on the path of the dove with the Magician and the Chariot, you've been through a lot of trials in your life, let's say that. You have this kind of, you have an awareness of your own superpower, right? You have awareness of your own skill and talent. You recognize your own potential, let's say, right? But now we've been looking for the magician. We've been looking for that something that brings that out of you. Okay? Something that puts this chariot in motion, and who better than the magician? We could have the emperor, right? But no, we've got the magician now driving the chariot. And I think that this is something very special. This is something that I think you've discovered a way to really express your essence, the beauty that you have within you, the skill, the talent, the knowledge, whatever you want to call it, that spirit within you. You figured out a way to express that into the world. And despite the oppositions, despite the inevitable setbacks, you are going to succeed gloriously, right? So I really like these two. And I think with the chariot here, again, yes, it's the awareness of your own potential, but it's also, I think, the preparation. It's kind of like you recognize that everything you've ever been through in your life has prepared you, has gone to create who you are. So when we talk about the Queen of Pentacles looking at the past and, sifting through all of our memories, all of our experiences, you're going to recognize that every one of those experiences was critical into building who you are now, even the negative experiences, even those things that we really don't want to think about. I don't want to remember those things, right? They're all a necessary part of who you are. We can't change them. We have to accept them, make them work for us, right? That's the trick of it all. To see them as now, as maybe more plates in our armor here, right? A way of fortifying our path and ourselves, rather than something that is creating weak spots in our armor. It actually becomes part of our armor, makes us stronger, right? Since we can't alter the past, we might as well find a way to use it, okay? And of course, the magician there is the metallurgist, the alchemist, is able to do that, right? It has the ingenium, has the wisdom and the talent and the skill, and really the knowledge to be able to look at things in that way. Now, the problem, I think, is some of this water energy, especially when we're talking about the past, because it's very easy to try to work with our history and become overly burdened by those emotions, by all that water energy attached to those experiences. But the magician, I think, is allowing you to be almost kind of detached, right? It's almost an ability to look at things objectively. There's a little bit of a kind of an unidentifying with those experiences. It's in a way that we can look at them how we choose to, right? That we're not overwhelmed, we're not overpowered by the emotional connection to those memories of the past. Okay. So I think that the magician is really a very good. The magician in Mercury is kind of like that coldness, right? It's kind of that ability to be rather detached, rather stoic. Mercury, the magician, is one of those energies that can enter into combination with any other card of the tarot, anything else, but never loses its sense of individuality, right? It's the number one. It's the first mystery of the tarot. Never loses that identity, never loses that individuality, no matter what it's in combination with. So it's kind of, it's as if we can immerse ourselves in our recollections and not be lost in those, And so anyway, I think magician's a very good card to have driving the chariot right now. The magician is also, I think, telling me that this is something that you've had to kind of learn a lot about. Whatever you're doing right now, it's not something that you just kind of knew. I think there's talent involved, but there's also skill. The skill is kind of the refinement of that natural talent, So whatever it is that you're involved with in your life right now, I think you have a natural talent for it, and the magician just kind of comes in and says, okay, you've got this natural talent. How can we use it? How can we mold it and shape it into something that is going to get past all of the opposition and get to that full sunlight? Right? This is the sun at high noon, highest in the sky and just radiant, right? The magician knows how to do those things, knows how to take the material that's already there, right? And it could be anything. It could be just a piece of wood. And a magician can see that piece of wood and think, I can, sculpt it and carve it, and it can become something glorious, right? We can shape it into something, and that's the magician, kind of in the role of the potter, at the potter's wheel, taking that lump of clay and just saying, what are we going to do with this? What are we going to turn this into? And you have to understand the kind of natural qualities, the natural characteristics of that lump of clay, right? Ourselves, and we have to know those characteristics so that we know how to bring out the very best in that, right? So I think that you have this natural talent, but you've been learning a lot as you go. You've been molding and refining yourself in a certain direction, perhaps all along and you didn't know it, but more intentionally now. You're doing it more intentionally now. And I think that you're gaining in skill, you're gaining in knowledge, you're expanding your efforts, your powers, and I think you are growing in all sense of the word. And you're deepening your connection with this, whatever you're doing. I don't know what it is. Let's look around at some of the other cards. So we have our major arcana, and I like that we really have we've got the devil down here, and then we've got the sun up here. Now, the devil is obviously your opposite sign, Cancer. It's on the astrological wheel. Cancer and Capricorn are exact opposites. So this is kind of your hidden ambition, and this is kind of what people don't really know about you, right? People think of Cancer as kind of a brooding, kind of pouting, kind of withdrawn energy sometimes, or has these, prone to emotional outbursts and this sort of thing. But what people don't understand about Cancer is that you are intensely driven. You have this unconscious driving force. Now, that driving force, if it remains unconscious, it could manifest as pleasure-seeking. It could manifest as aggression, as these emotional outbursts of rage and aggression and all that stuff. But properly understood and recognized, this is an ambition for you to climb all the way to the top of the mountain, which is what we see here with that sun card, see? And so I think this is a very important combination of cards, as well as this one. This is the means, this is kind of what we're doing with this machine here. This is the path that we're on. So we have major arcana. We've got our fire, we've got a little bit of water, we've got a little bit of air, and we've got a little bit of earth. Now, I'll have to hit the cough button for just a second. I do apologize for that. My throat, my chest is it's a mess. I'm sorry. Let's talk about what some of these obstacles are. Here's the 9 of Swords in the future position. Or in the kind of, not so much the future, but it's what we're facing, right? It's what we're looking at right now. And what we're looking at right now, I think, is, one, there are people around you that kind of, and it feels like family members, that they don't really believe in you, right? I don't know if you have siblings, but I feel like there's some sort of a brother energy that's just like, never believed in you, just thinks, oh, this is another one of your harebrained schemes, right? Or just kind of feel, and I think really what's going on there is, I almost wonder if there's because I think it's an older sibling you have, right? I think there's a little bit of, like, not rivalry, but even a little bit of jealousy, right? That I don't know if this older sibling has, if they've had a more difficult life, or maybe not more difficult, but I feel like it's been more strenuous. I feel like your life has been difficult, but in a different way, So I feel like there's some opposition coming from family, and I feel that it sometimes feels as if your family members don't believe in you, don't believe in what you're doing, right? The 9 of Swords really is as well as being opposition from outside. Sometimes the 9 of Swords is opposition coming from inside. See, when we think about the fire and earth, which is what we have right here in the middle, you're trying to actualize the potential. You're right in the middle of doing something that's going to manifest as the perfect expression of fire and earth, which is the sun, right? It's fire and earth. So what you're trying to do now is complete this electrical circuit of creation. You're trying to manifest something that begins in your soul, in your spirit. And sometimes what gets in the way is our thinking and our feeling, right? So I think that with the Nine of Swords, you are prone to being moved by the flattery or criticisms of other people. Okay. And I think also it goes all the way back throughout your history, probably childhood, But when people give you praises, it's very encouraging and it makes you very happy. When people have something critical to say about what you're doing, it makes you less motivated, makes you quite sad, right? So we're really moved by that. Part of the work of the Chariot is to realize that we have to have a border around ourselves. We have to fortify our edges, our aura. And what I feel with this is that we're trying not to be so moved by the impressions of others. Yeah. So when other people, and really it could be, anybody, customers that you might have, or coworkers or family members, friends, classmates, I don't know, it depends on what you're doing. Let's say you get a bad mark on a paper that you turn in at university. We're trying not to let that force us into a tailspin. Okay, because this is a very deep Nine of Swords. This is a very deep card. It's very severe in its energies. And we have to be on the lookout for this the way that we are, because you could be just happy, smooth sailing, everything is great, and then somebody says something a little bit negative, and we crash and burn. Right? And we don't want that to happen, because there will be people that laugh at you. There will be people that say you're terrible at this. Those people don't matter. I mean, they matter in a way, because again, every experience we have has to be a piece of metal on our armor, right? It has to go into strengthening our armor. So we have to be able to use the criticism in a way that is constructive and productive for us. Not in a way that makes us feel weaker or makes us do less or aspire less or try less. Okay. Because I think when that energy comes in from outside, it really has a tendency to affect how you think about yourself. Okay. And the same really goes for the Eight of Cups here. And the Eight of Cups is very similar to the Nine of Swords, and I think these two really go together. In the sense that when the words come in from other people, it really puts us in this, it really kind of takes the wind out of our sails, right? We can't let it do that. That's why this is the obstacle, because this is really going to slow us down. If we're sailing along and then suddenly somebody says, hey, you suck, and then suddenly we just hit the brakes, and then we just give up, right? Or we just float there for days on end, right? Rather than just, politely waving at them as we sail by them, right? Maybe doing something else with our hands I can't do on YouTube. But, it's a way of not allowing energy coming from outside to move us in a direction we don't want to go. We can use some of that to move us in the right direction. And that's really that's the hard part. That's something that maybe we don't even try to do. Maybe now it's just better to ignore the naysayers rather than to use all of that negative energy, convert it, transmute it, right? The alchemist here, transmute it into positive force to drive us closer to our goal, right? To push us faster. And that's something that maybe, I don't know, maybe we're ready for that, maybe we're not. That's up to you. I do want to do a language of flowers for that Nine of Swords. Oh, I think that's the one. The white carnation, devotion, be true and pure in thought and deed. Well, what is the Nine of Swords other than thought, right? And it's thought that can be very cruel. It is, the world can be a cruel place. And I think that it's important that we realize that there is going to be opposition. There will always be a challenge, and it's important for us to realize how how much we allow that negative energy to enter into our psyche and take root. It's like a little virus that gets in there, you know? And before we know it, we're infected and we lose our voice and we can't do our tarot readings on YouTube. I joke about that, but I think that's actually pretty right on, because we let that negative energy in and we think maybe it's just a mental thing. Maybe this is just a word virus, a thought. But that thought could easily permeate the entire system and bring us physical illness, psychosomatic. So we have to be careful about that too, because I think that there maybe is a tendency here that when we're having a bad day, or somebody's been negative, or we've received some criticism, and it's kind of like, my stomach hurts, I don't want to go to school today. I imagine that's something that every kid has gone through, and I think maybe cancer, I think maybe that happens to you a little bit still. When things are I'm just not looking forward to going into work today. I start to have a stomach ache and I can't go in. It's not something that we do consciously necessarily, but it's something that does happen. And I think it's preventing us from really actualizing our fire to earth, finding that glory, finding that success that we want despite that negative energy that we're facing. And it's good that we're looking directly at this so that doesn't sneak up on us. Right? So we've got the Queen of Pentacles looking at the past, and we have to remember that if we're spending too much time looking at the past, we're not going to see these 9 swords coming in. So the Queen of Pentacles has to eventually turn around and look forward. Okay. I wonder if the mystery card will be the Knight of Pentacles, who does look towards the future, whereas the Queen looks towards the past. Now, this is, I think, you understanding and having done the work already of appreciating your past, where you've been. Everything that has ever happened to you has led you to this moment right now. Everything that has that you've ever experienced, whether you remember it or not, is part of the wind in this fiery chariot of creative energy that you're in, this sailboat, right? It's more wind in your sails. It has more armor on your chariot. It's a little bit more grease for the wheels, The Three of Pentacles here is, I think, the potential that you have. That it's, for one thing, this is saying that something's already in motion. This is saying that it's an effort that you do need the cooperation of someone else. I don't know how many people are involved here, but whether it's, website stuff or customers or other businesses, or you have to hire employees or whatever it is. You have to source materials for your art, whatever it might be. There's a cooperation, there's a networking that has to happen. This is also saying that for you to be successful here, you have to have the spirit, which you do, but you also have to have the heart and the mind to do it. And that's where we're running into just that, the heart and the mind, right? These two, the heart and mind, water and air. You've got the will. Because the magician, Mercury, this is the will, right? That is the will itself. You've got the will to do this, and you are doing it. We just have to keep our heart and our mind balanced against the influence of the negative energy, the emotional influence that our obstacles are going to affect upon us. Okay? Sorry about that cough button, but I'd rather hit the button than just kind of blow your eardrums out with me coughing every couple of minutes, so I apologize for that. The Princess of Wands that we have on the path of the Serpent here, this is fire and earth as well, right? So this is kind of the embodiment of everything that we're doing. And I feel as if there's a certain, when you're in the middle of doing this work, I believe you really feel like a kid again. You feel just such enthusiasm. I almost wonder, are you even sleeping at night? Because I feel like you just cannot wait to get up in the morning and start this work, or in the evening, or whatever you do. I feel like you are so charged up with this that we just cannot wait until we can grab our materials and start doing this every day. So it's something that you have this intense passion for. You really do. And I like that. And I think that we have to sustain that, which is what you're doing here with the Prince of of Wands. That is the sustained creative energy, that enthusiasm that does not waver or wane when there's a storm. You know, we're going to encounter storms again. We're Cancer, we're emotional beings, right? There's going to be another emotional kind of storm for you. The idea here is not to let that slow you down very much or at all. Okay. And the next card then is that Devil energy. That is your drive. This is kind of what we have to, this is, I think, where Cancer, when you retreat into your shell, right? Everybody thinks that you're just kind of pouting and, being sad. No, I think what you're doing is you're in here communing with this Devil energy, with this Capricorn energy, which again is your opposite sign. So this is what you're not always aware of in your life, if ever, really. This is something that's way down in the subconscious, the unconscious, yeah? It is your opposite sign. And so this is kind of what is deep within you. This is your ambition. And so I think that sometimes when we are in this kind of a storm, right, it triggers our driving force. And this manifests as either pleasure seeking. So when we're having a bad day, or if somebody is rather cruel to us, or we experience too much opposition in our work, in our endeavors, or we get that criticism that hits somewhere important, hits a soft spot somewhere, do we tend to revert to pleasure seeking, overindulging in things, For me, yeah, I have a bad day. I might go to the store and get a pint of ice cream, It used to be I'd go to the store and get some alcohol, right? I don't do that anymore, thankfully. It's been quite a while that I've had a drink of alcohol. But there's that tendency. See, I'm a solar Cancer too. I don't know if you knew that. So this reading is very much for me, as it is for all of you. And I think that we have to be aware of how we get, I hate to use the T word, but triggered, right? By negative things that happen around us. And then it manifests as some sort of behavior for us. Because that's a misdirection of this driving force and this Princess of Wands. If we can use that to push us even closer to our goal, then okay. If we could be neutral to it and try to ignore it, okay. But if we allow it to then completely stop the boat, and then we're just here eating ice cream or doing something else, being cruel to ourselves, right? I mean, punishing ourselves, and this really goes deep, Like I said, if somebody has something negative to say about the creative work that we're doing, or about our skill, or about us in general, we tend to really let that knife go in deep, and it hits a spot in us, and then we maybe even start believing it. And then we start treating ourselves as if that was true. Well, we're not doing that, okay? So we have to be aware of this driving force and how it might manifest as that pleasure seeking, right? Or as that aggression. Do we sometimes just rage, Do we have emotional outbursts at times? Okay? The other side of this, of course, is that creative drive, the generative drive. Do we use that negative energy rather than in those kind of negative or harmful ways? Do we turn that around into positive energy and use that to become more ambitious, to push forward even harder, right? I think that's what you're being shown, and I think that it's leading you to your ultimate success with the Sun card at the top. This is glory. This is you now succeeding in your work. This is beautiful. This is success. Okay. But let's look at the mystery card. I'd like to see something very positive. I'd like to see another Chariot card. I'd like to see an Empress. I'd like to see maybe a Nine of Cups, Nine of Pentacles would be fine. I want to see something good, something positive, right? Something reassuring. But even if it's something negative, let's use it to get more strength. Let's use it to go faster and aspire ever higher. Let's not allow it to set us back, right? Let's see what we got. We've got the world. We've got the universe. And we've got the whole world, right? And I think that this is a couple things. One, no limit. You are this shining, radiant star. This is your playground, the entire universe, right? This is also a card that says we have to accept everything that's in the universe. Everything is in here. This is literally everything that can or will or has existed, good and bad. And in the eyes of the universe, everything is pretty equal, right? There's no preference over, it's rather indifferent, over good or evil. It's just everything is here. And it's up to us to navigate that. So this is us really accepting the world as it is, the good and the bad. Accepting that, yeah, some people are going to say some pretty screwed up things to us. That's okay. It's going to happen, right? We've probably said some screwed up things to other people at some point in our life too. It is what it is. We have to accept everything exactly how it is. And that's what the magician does. And I've said this many times. The magician, it's like a game of Chopped. I don't know why I keep thinking about that. Maybe because I'm hungry. The basket, you get this basket of ingredients. And you've got to open the basket. Everything in there, you got to cook. Right? The magician is the master chef. And the world is that basket of random ingredients that we get, and we've got to make the best dish possible. I don't know if you've seen that show. Check it out. It's on, I think, Food Network, Chopped. It's really good. Really fun. Wholesome. Bring the whole family, But life's like that, and the magician knows that and is able to just kind of be dropped into whatever life we're born into. This is the material I have to work with. This is who I am. This is my upbringing. This is my genetics. This is my environment. This is me and my choices. This is who I am right now in this moment. This is my material that my metallurgist, alchemist, magician has to work with to create that ultimate success of that sun card. So really, really beautiful reading. This is really good energy for you. We're going to do an extended too. If you want to stick around, click up here or down here. New readings for Cancer every Tuesday and Friday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. And leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know, Cancer, that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.